1,000 Pound Sisters, Season 7, Episode 7. I'm going to policefully duck out. Let's talk about it. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, to my nieces and nephews, and all of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie's advice. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie's advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie's advice. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into this review of the 1,000 Pound Sister, Season 7, Episode 7. I'm going to policefully duck out. Y'all, this episode was a mess. And Amy is spiraling. Her hate, her jealousy for Tammy is coming out in every which way. I think that Amy believed that because she was getting engaged, that this was going to make her the favorite, and it just did not. It backfired like I don't know what, because of the ridiculousness, okay, of her saying that she is going to marry someone in a haunted house, in a insane asylum. And the family is like, no, we're not going. We already know that your brain is working at 14%, that you make very dumb decisions, that you've been in this relationship with this guy for a short period of time. We're going to give you a pass on that, but we're not giving you a pass on anything else. Like we're not doing it. So we start this episode off with Amy and her boyfriend going to court. And so her attorneys were able to negotiate for them to get very minimum charges. They brought it down from a felony to a misdemeanor, and it was just a drug possession. In exchange for that, Amy has to do child classes for how to take care of her children. Maybe they should have given her also how to clean the house, how to make sure that the backyard is safe for the children to play in, how to pick the right man. She also is on probation for 2 years. And Amy got off too early. I mean, too easy for me, which often happens to a lot of people, which is why a lot of times they end up being reoffenders. Amy said on this particular episode that she is not even getting high anymore. And I think she's a bald-faced lie and the devil ain't in her. Okay, I mean, the devil is in her. I think that Amy is just a liar. And this guy, basically wasn't the one. I don't know who was the one that had the other drug that they were accused of having. I don't know, how that happened or what happened with that. But I'm just saying, this is just absolutely ridiculous that they got off this scot-free. They, gave some concession to the fact that Amy lived out of state, right? And so she's going to be, serving that time, in her home. She got off too easy. Also, the animal zoo said, don't bring that bitch back. She is banned for her life. She can never come back here again. And for Amy, she ain't trying to go back no time soon anyway. And so basically, we see Chris still being the big brother and being the daddy. What is that? Being the daddy and, still trying to talk to Amy, but it's no need to talk to Amy. Amy went to court on the first time Amy went to court. They all went and, her, Amy, Tammy, let me slow down. Amy, Tammy, and Chris went to go and find Amy some court appropriate clothing. Amy this time went looking like a lumberjack. Hello there, Randy. Hello, Barbara. I want to make sure I shout out. Hey, JW. Hello, Ray Della. Hey, Bum Bum. She was looking like a lumberjack. She does not care about how she looks. Right now, Amy is spiraling and she is walking around with a grudge because the family does not want to go to her wedding. So Chris is talking to her about, really being serious about this thing and all of that, but they know that Amy, is just not someone that you can talk to and you can reason with. I thought that it was really unfortunate that, this was going on, but I'm just like, okay. So Tammy has a conversation with Amy, about her weight and stuff like that. They're all sitting at the table. They have this little party for Tammy. And during the part, and this party is because Tammy is going to be going to Philadelphia to get the skin removal. Now I saw a picture on TikTok and it was of Tammy and I couldn't believe that it was Tammy, and now that I'm thinking about it, that was a picture of Tammy. Tammy look like she like a size 8, size 10. Anyway, shout out to her because she about to make me get in the gym. As tired as I be, no. As tired as I am, a bitch supposed to get back in the gym. Members, the invitation that y'all have out there expires tomorrow. If you have not already done so, make your reservation because they will be open up to the general public. Okay? All right. So let's keep moving on. So anyway, Amy, they're at the thing, and Tammy is, happy about the fact that she's going to finally have this skin surgery, but she's apprehensive because she said that when you're going under the knife like that, that you can lose your life, or you can come out and not be yourself again, right? She's afraid that something will happen in the surgery where she will not be able to take care of herself anymore. And I'm like, it's amazing to me that's amazing to me that Tammy would say that, because for years when Tammy was 700 pounds, Tammy wasn't taking care of herself. But now that she's had a taste of life and being in the water at the dirty beach and, bungee jumping or whatever she did, Tammy now has, an idea of all of the life that she has missed. And so she doesn't want to miss that again, right? And so anyway, we watch as Tammy is sitting at the table, and Amy, of course, has a really bad attitude. She's had a bad attitude ever since. She sits down with her boyfriend Brian, and she makes herself the victim. Amy is a perpetual victim, and Amy has been wanting the attention the whole entire time. And now that Tammy is getting some attention, she's having a really big problem, because even at the table, she said something that was shady. So anyway, they were talking about, the surgery and all of that kind of stuff. And so, Tammy came out and flat out said, Amy, you got to really work. So they're talking about the skin surgery. Amy, for some reason, does not want to admit that she's gained a lot of weight and is not eligible no time soon bit for the skin removal surgery. So they go down the line and start talking about it. And Tammy is like, well, Amy, you got to get that weight off your fat ass, right? You've allowed your fat ass to, gain weight, et cetera, et cetera. And, when we were in the store, you seemed like you had a problem because I was smaller than you. Honey, I'd have been here with. I'm so damn shady. Honey. So anyway, she's like, it is what it is. I'm not, mad. I wasn't jealous or anything like that. I know I gotta work. I gotta do what I gotta do. But Tammy absolutely addressed that situation with her, and I thought that that was really bold and something that Tammy really did need to do, because we all know that Amy had a problem, because Amy said, "Well, I just bought an extra large for, excuse me." To make it a little bit more roomy. No, bitch, you buying an extra large because you fit in the extra large. You ain't never been afraid to wear tight clothes or anything like that. If you in an extra large, you just in an extra large. Okay. I mean, I'm still having a problem with understanding how I went from a medium to a large. But the scale damn show been telling me, bitching, if you don't stop, you're gonna be an extra large. And then after that, you're gonna start being in 2X. You know what I'm saying? Your body will tell you. And then, with the fatigue that I've been having, well, no, I got to be fair to myself. I got to give myself grace. But I'm telling you, I be tired as when I get home. I be lay on. I have to lay down for at least 15, 20 minutes. Bitch, I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or what it is, but when I get home from work, I am immediately taking me a nap. I heard that naps were healthy. But bitch, I can't function without them. I mean, and that's just the truth. Anyway, I digress. Okay. But then when it's time for me to go to bed, I'm a busybody. I got this going on. I got that going on. I got two alarms that wake me up. This morning I was fighting with my two alarms. I know y'all won't hear my stuff, but I was fighting with my two alarms. I was just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And next thing you know, honey, I looked up. Bitch, it was 4:30 and I was already late. So anyway, I digress. So I just was like, okay. So, they go through the rigmarole, Amanda is just really being supportive. And it's good to see that Tammy is leaning on her big sister. And so, they all going up to, Philly to be with her. But the shady thing that Amy did was she asked her about her girlfriend and whether, where was her girlfriend at. And so she, it was like she had work. She was like, well, is she gonna be going up to Philly? And she was like, no, because she gotta work. But it was just the way that she said it, right? Made me believe that Amy, seriously was trying to be shady towards Tammy, like, with your girlfriend ain't out here supporting you, your relationship ain't everything you thought it was, right? What you say, Tamika, Auntie, I'm 44 and need naps, and my hips hurt, and my body is giving out like Dr. Okay, I'm doing that tomorrow, y'all. Okay. Bonbon said, understandable. Tiffany said, I hear you, Auntie. I sleep till next morning. Oh my God. I have to learn how to get my ass in the bed, period. Point blank poo. So I'm just like, my whole thing is it was shady that, just the way that she asked it and everything. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section if y'all thought it was shady. I thought it was shady as fuck. So anyway, Tammy is preparing to go, and Amy is saying that she's going to go, right? So Amy goes, and it's all about Amy. It's about Amy in the car. It's about Amy in the air. It's about Amy everywhere. And Chris is not for it. He's worried about his little sister. This is a very invasive surgery that Tammy is going to be having. They are doing Tammy's neck, they are doing Tammy's arms, and they're doing Tammy's stomach. Okay. And Amy is jealous, right? Because she's not there, but she's not there because of her own self. And just like the family was saying, Amy doesn't want to realize how much weight she has really gained, right? Same old thing over here, bitch. Same thing over here. You are like in denial. when your body is changing on your ass. And then I have to understand too that I'm about to be the big number. But I'm just like this is a little bit too much. Anyway, so um they get there, they're at the hotel. They go and meet with the doctors. The doctors tell Tammy, about the surgery. They want to check her out, all of that kind of stuff. She gets on the scale, and Tammy is 201 pounds. I said, Tammy is catching up with me, bitch. I got to do something. She's catching up with me. So she, gets on the scale and everything. And she's like, I don't remember me being, ever this small. And Chris said it was when you was a little girl. And so Amanda shows up and meets Tammy at the hotel. She comes later on, and Tammy falls into Amanda's arms. And I love it. And Amanda was like, this is my girl, this is my sister. I loved her. She's giving Tammy words of encouragement and stuff like that. And then, of course, Tammy asked Amanda to pray. And I thought that that was absolutely beautiful. Kudos for catching that on the screen, because I thought that that was beautiful. And for those of us who have siblings, we know we fall out, right? And sometimes maybe a period of time or something that we're not talking to each other and we're not seeing each other. But at the end of the day, we still love one another. We are siblings, and it just is what it is. And it's going to always be what it is. I thought that that was just very, it warmed my heart to see them come back together like that, because at the end of the day, Vanessa said, I love that scene as well. Absolutely. It was just absolutely phenomenal. It just really was. And if you got somebody in your family, right, and y'all going through a dispute right now, y'all ain't really talking to each other, y'all ain't really messing with each other like that. There's always, well, no, there isn't, because sometimes people think that they got all this time and you don't. But reconcile yourself back with your family, and love one another as best as you can. Make sure you take care of yourself. Allow yourself the grace, right? Allow yourself grace. I think that that is something that I have been saying to myself. I've been saying to my daughter, because you got to allow yourself grace. You got to allow yourself grace to make mistakes and not always get it right all the time. And yeah, so we see Tammy going to surgery, and the family is sitting outside. It's Chris, Amanda, and um Amy. And of course, Amy is still talking about this wedding. And this is where all her bitterness is coming from. And I think that of the 14% brain function that she has, I think 12% of it is wrapped around the rejection of the family. And I don't think that they rejected her. I think that they rejected, I'm not going into a haunted house or into an asylum for you getting married. Like, this is some dumb okay? And this is dumb woman energy. And we just not feeding into it. The family's not feeding into it at all. So instead of this being about Tammy, it's been about Amy. And Amy is absolutely jealous of Tammy. And I think that it goes all the way back to when they were just YouTubers. It was always tearing Tammy down, always using, like I said before in a previous video, she alleged that Tammy had passed away. She was collecting money for a casket for Tammy. I know y'all remember, those of y'all that follow them on YouTube, because Tammy was so big, she was saying that they needed to have a special coffin made for Tammy. And next thing you know, Tammy come out and like, bitch, I'm alive. It's always been, I think, this jealousy, this hatred towards her sister. And even she's in competition with her. I don't know why, but she is. She acts as if she supports her, but she doesn't. in my opinion, because remember, y'all, she used to always complain about how much she had to do for Tammy and this, that, and the other. Now I know that, it was a lot that she had to do for the girl, but I'm just going back in the past and I'm looking at a lot of Amy's shady ass moves. And I really do believe that a lot of her moves was absolutely shady. They were self-centered, gratifying, self-centered. I just, like, and it hasn't changed now. And Tammy, has surpassed Amy, with or without telling her. Okay. Tammy has shrunk before our eyes. Tammy couldn't walk. They were pushing her up ramps in a wheelchair. And the thing I like about it is that Chris and Amanda and them, they have embraced Tammy's change and they really want to see her change. And, they're in the waiting room, Tammy goes in and everything. Like I said, Amanda prayed and Missy looked good too. But anyway, so now they call to give Chris an update. They tell him where they are with her. They only doing half of this and they only got to half of that. And so Amanda made a joke about it, right? Hey, JC. She made a joke. Hey, see Becky. Hey, Beverly. Did I say hi to Beverly? They made a joke about it. And then she got mad. Chris got mad because he was like, you don't make a joke like that, right? But then they come back together. They get another call. They go back to the hotel. They get a call the next day. No, not the next day, a couple of hours later. But they're sitting in the waiting room, and Amy comes in and passes gas while Chris is talking to the mother. She passes gas. So Amanda was like, did you pass gas? She said, yeah. She didn't say yeah. But when Amanda starts reacting to it, I'm only human. I'm only human. When did God make them perfect? Everybody's made perfect. We strive for perfection. We strive, but when God made you, He said, "Baby, you perfect. You unique. You're wonderfully made." She says, "I'm just human, and humans pass gas, but they also get up and excuse themselves out the room." I don't understand how Amy ain't kidnapped. She wants to fly off the handle. She's picking anything to argue about. If you are sitting amongst other people and you got to pass gas, get the fuck up and walk out the room. It just doesn't take much to just walk out the room. Excuse me, y'all. But you're going to sit there with your legs gapped open, elbows on your thighs, and pass gas. And so it's stinking, and Amanda's like this. And so now this gives Amy an excuse to say my family hates me, they don't support me, they don't like me. Why? Because the time right now is on Tammy, and you want to continue to live in this mess about this man that don't nobody really care nothing about. What are we doing? If you gotta pass gas, get up and leave. And if you do accidentally, it comes out. Because sometimes you got them sneaky ones that be like, girl, they just be like, them the ones that on you. Wow. We've all had that. But when that happens, say excuse me. Oh my God. Oh my God, y'all. I'm so sorry that slipped out. I've been, eating a lot of avocados, whatever. But you don't just sit there and be like, I'm only human. So Amanda was like, I'm trying to tell you right now. So Chris gets off the phone. He like, what's going on? What did I miss? She said, you better check your sister. You better check your sister. Chris tries to go and check Amy, and then Amy takes it back. I canceled everything. I canceled everything because Tammy told me wasn't nobody gonna come. I support them. I support them. If Chris was having this, I would support. I would go. If this person was having this, I would go. How many trips have they been on that Amy didn't go to? Hello. Y'all remember when they flew and she ended up messing around because she was so afraid to fly that she made Amanda's son drive her and her badass kids all the way to Florida? Thank you so much, Money. Money for the 4.99 super chat. The fact that Amy wants her kids around dark spirits and negative environment like the asylum for her fetish is concerning. Okay? I compromised when I went to your wedding, Chris. Chris was like, no, you didn't. She said, I don't like church. Okay. All right. So this where we are. This is where we are. Okay. All righty then. This was ridiculous. Chris was like, I'm not gonna compromise. He said, nobody is telling you that they don't want you to marry Brian. I just ain't gonna walk up in an asylum and watch you do it. He said, I got enough demons. I don't need to be going in there inviting any. And I mean, and I absolutely agree. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 19.99 super chat. Amy sucks the air out of the room. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who does that? Now you're saying you canceled everything because you didn't really want to marry this guy. You just wanted a storyline. You just wanted, is she married to him now? Is she married to him now? Stop it with this bullshit. Like let's grow up. Like it is seriously time for them to consider what they're going to do and who's going to be raising Amy's kids. This is my opinion about it. Who's going to be raising Amy's kids? Amy really, in my opinion, probably should be institutionalized or on some kind of medicine because Amy is unstable and makes decisions for her life and takes no accountability and doesn't even understand the repercussions of the decisions that she makes and the blowback to her kids. She don't understand it. A disadvantage. Her boys are definitely at a disadvantage. I won't say why right now, but they're at a disadvantage. All that glitter ain't gold. Matter of fact, Amy looking like a piece of brass. Like her boys are at a serious disadvantage. Let me tell you why I believe that. Number one, they don't have their father in the home. Number two, if they had him in the home, he's still on the back of a bus. She's bringing people around her, dating different men. They have no stability whatsoever. Being with Amy, she's not educated and can't help educate them. And everything she does is for a click and a motherfucking view. They're at a disadvantage. Now, there are a whole lot of other things that I could say as to why I believe her boys are at a disadvantage. But they really are, because their mother is working with a brain that has 14%. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I thank you all so much for being here. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section what y'all think about this show. Do you think that Amy really loves Tammy? Or do you think that she just don't like her and she's jealous of her? I think she's absolutely jealous of her. But I'm curious to know what you all think. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Amoni. Is it Money or Money for the 4.99 super chat? And my Beverly Conley, thank you so much for the 19.99 super chat. I love y'all members. Please remember that tomorrow is the deadline for you to get your advance tickets. After that, the tickets will be out there for everybody. So I wanted to give y'all an opportunity, okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So tomorrow's the last day, okay? I love you all so much. Thank you so much, Ray Della, for all that you do to make sure that we abide by the YouTube guidelines and that the chat is nice and safe for everybody to be able to enjoy themselves. Y'all, that means a lot. I love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.